Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today we're going to collect a Jaguar XF that I've just bought for $4.5 grand. As you know, I love the Jaguar XF. I think they're a really good alternative to the 5 Series BMW or the Mercedes E-Class. I've done lots of different videos with them over the years. In fact, my first Should You Buy a Jaguar XF video has hit over 1 million views. Anyway, what do I know about this one then? Well, I haven't actually seen it yet, but I'm told that it's quite nice. I know I'm generalising here, but Jaguar owners tend to look after the cars quite well. They tend to be the pride and joy, which is good news for me. This one's done 98,000 miles, it's white with a black interior, and it's got bigger wheels on it. It's also the premium luxury model, which means it's got some nice extras as standard. It isn't quite as high as the portfolio, but better than the looks. I'm hoping, I've got my fingers and toes crossed, that this is a nice one, in which case it'll be worth about £7,000 on the forecourt. On the face of it, that sounds quite good. It sounds like a healthy profit margin, but Jaguar parts can be quite expensive. For example, if this hasn't had its cam belt done, then that's a £500 job straight away. If it hasn't had its gearbox serviced, then there's another £250 down the drain. If it needs a couple of tyres, they're about £150 a pop for a decent brand. So before you know it, your gross profit margin will end up netting you next to nothing. Still, for me anyway, with cars like this, it isn't always about the profit. I figure if I can sell 30 cars a month and make a decent profit margin, then I can afford to break even on 2 or 3. On something like this Jaguar XF, it's more of a passion project for me. Something that I like to do. It's for the love of the car, really. I'm hoping that isn't the case. I'm just preparing myself for the worst. I'm hoping for a £2,000 profit margin. We'll soon find out though, won't we? Right, I shall see you there. Well, we're here. It's got titanium looking wheels, like anthracite wheels, which I'm not a big fan of, but the rest of the car looks quite nice. It's got an S badge on the back. They did an XF 3-litre diesel and they did an XF S with an extra 25 horsepower. I hope that is the S. I mean, the standard one's quick enough, but the S is quite rapid. That looks alright actually. What can I see? The bodywork looks alright. Needs a good clean. The wheels don't look damaged, which is a bit of a shame really. Had the wheels been curbed, then I'd just paint them silver back to standard, but the fact that they're in decent order would be a bit of a waste of money, wouldn't it? It is filthy, it does need a good clean, but apart from that, it looks alright. We've got Day Specialist car centre plates, which look a bit wonky actually. I can see a reverse camera. We've got powerful mirrors. That's pretty good, you know. Right, as always then, let me do a vehicle history check using Car Vertical. So it's really easy to do. All you do is go to carvertical.com. They've recently revamped the whole site. Then we're going to type the reg in. So in this case it is Papa Yankee 10 DDL check vehicle. If you want to do one of these checks for yourself, and I urge you to do so before you hand over any cash for a used car, you can get 10% off if you use my promo code HIGHPEAK, or click the link below in the video description. This is currently checking millions of cars across dozens of countries' databases, so don't think it's just a UK thing, because it isn't. This will tell us if it's ever been stolen, written off, has outstanding finance on it, or had a mileage rollback. And just like that, the report's ready. So, it has checked 72 million damage records, 436 million vehicles in 35 countries. Okay, so it's never been stolen, the mileage is fine, there's no outstanding finance, and it's never been involved in an accident. Oh, this is interesting, right. They have revamped the whole site, so this shouldn't come as a surprise, but they give you a bit of a write-up about the whole car. So it tells you about the various engines that it comes with, the fact there's a sport brake version. That's quite good. Right, the last known mileage was 92,800. And it's fairly consistent every year, 92, 84, 76, 69, 63, blah, blah, blah. So the mileage is good. Let's see if there's any MOT on it then. Right, it passed its MOT in July. Right, so it will be due another one shortly. We're already in May, June, aren't we? So, this is interesting. I was hoping that this was worth about £7,000, but according to this, the market value, or the average market price for such a vehicle, is £7,444. Might be worth a bit more than £7 grand than this. Oh, this is an interesting point. Be cautious of hidden issues if the vehicle was on sale for significantly less than the current price. Basically, if it's too good to be true, usually is. It's a 3-litre diesel, which is that Lion Peugeot collab. And then we've got all the previous MOT history here as well. It has had a private plate, but the last MOT in July had no advisory items. So we're all good. Right, let's go and have a look around it then. Like I say, use the promo code HIGHPEAK and you get 10% off. Okay, then what have we got? Tell you what, this weather is beautiful. The first bit of good news is that we've got both sets of keys. So yeah, see what I mean about the wheel colour? Wouldn't be my first choice, that, but I've seen worse. At least they're not black. And they're in decent condition. So I thought that was a bit of scuff in there, but I think it's just a bit of mud. There's a little bit of surface rust on the discs, but they're smooth. There's no lip there at all. What are we running on? We're running on a Dunlop with about 4mm of tread. That's pretty good. Panel gaps are all right. There's a sticker on the headlamp there, as if it's been replaced. Quite straight down the panels. Some bird muck there. Somebody doesn't like white cars. Ah, right. We've got another Dunlop on the back with, again, about 5mm of tread, but this wheel's a bit curved there. Perhaps I will get them repainted. What do you think? Again, the disc, there's a little bit of a lip on that, but nothing major. Around here we've got a little bit of T-cut there where someone's trying to buff it. I quite like it in white, you know. Quite sort of Middle Eastern spec, isn't it? I just think they're a really good looking car, don't you think? I think they're aging really nicely. I particularly like the rear lights. They're a bit DBS-ish, Aston DBS-ish. Have we got another Dunlop? We do indeed, on about 5mm of tread again. Panel gaps look okay. The sill's not stoved in. There are no door dents. This is a nice car, this. Very nice. Moving up front, we've got xenon lights, I think. I think those little chrome things there are the headlamp washers. We've got matching plates. We've got another S badge, so it says S on the grille there. Maybe this is the 270 horsepower S. Need to have a look at the paperwork. Looks very nice, this. And we do, another Dunlop. So we've got a set of Dunlops. Straight away, I know I always moan about tyres, but there's such an important indication of how the car's been looked after. If someone's put cheap tyres on, they've probably cheaped out on everything else as well. Ooh, that doesn't sound too healthy. Needs a bit of a squirted WD-40. Well, we've got Bowers & Wilkins, which I think is standard on a premium luxury. A little bit of wear there on the driver's seat, but in keeping with a 100,000 mile car. This is nice, you know. Oh, we've got the Alcantara headline in. Don't think that was standard, I think that's an option. We've got, what have we got for lunch? We've got some wheel bolts. I wonder if somebody's put these wheels on it then. It's like an eBay purchase. It's all very clean, this. Not used to getting presented cars to me in such a clean state. What? Right, we've got a spare vent. So that little vent goes there. So I'm guessing either that one doesn't work or that one doesn't work. It's either the old one or the replacement. We'll soon find out, won't we? Right, I've got all the paperwork there. We've got a gloss black interior, which I like, and it's not all worn. Quite often with gloss black interiors, this sort of piano black, people throw the keys here and all that sort of stuff, and it gets scratched very easily. In here we've got a navigation, looks like a VHS case. This is all very complete, this. What did I tell you about Jaguar owners? This has obviously been someone's pride and joy. What I'll do now, you can look at my sweaty face a second while I look at the service history. I don't want to reveal anybody's name or address, do I? Ah, that's good, right. The last service was at Elite Jaguar, who are a Jaguar specialist in Stockport. I've not told you about this actually. I bought a Jaguar XF recently for £800. In fact, not recently, about 3 months ago, from my auntie's friend down south. It was a non-runner, so I got it towed to Elite, and they suspect it's an immobiliser fault, so it's been parked outside their yard now for about 2 months while they're trying to get on it. In their defence, it wasn't booked in. I just dropped it on the toes. Well, in fact, I think I can show you this, can't I? Have a look at this. This history is excellent. So we've got Jaguar at 13, Jaguar at 22, Jaguar at 30, Jaguar at 40, Jaguar at 50, Jaguar at 60. Then it went to Dace at 63, who are a used car dealer in Stockport. That was done at 63,000. This is perfect history, this. And then Elite Jaguar have looked after it every year since. So 19, 20, 21, 70, 78, 80. And then another one. Now it should have had its cam belt done. The cam belt's due at 105. Or 10 years, or 8 years, I think. Yeah, 8 years or 105. It's been done. Look at that. Well, that saved me 500 quid. So the cam belt was done when it was, yeah, 10 years old, 79,000 miles. Right, it wasn't due mileage wise, but it was due time wise. That's the result. Then it had another one at 95,000 miles in November last year. This really isn't due anything then, is it? I think what I'll do then is take it to my mechanics for a check over. It's not really due a service, so I'll get them to check the levels and check over the car in general and run it through an MOT. What else can I show you then? We've got a receipt here from Black Circles for 2 Dunlops. We've got the old tax disc. This is just what you want to see. Another receipt from Black Circles. Now I can't show you this because it's got people's, well, the previous owner's details on it. In fact, let me cover this up in a bit of a crude fashion. This is what I love to see, and this is what I urge anyone to do before you trade in your car, because you will get more money for it. It just looks like it's been loved. Put all your receipts in a binder like this. It just looks so much more professional. Anyway, where was I? I don't quite believe what I'm seeing here. I've got all the receipts here from Elite Cars, Elite Jaguar. Please carry out gearbox service. This is like it's been owned by me. Nobody does all this. New brake pads, a full service. I've had a massive result here, massive result. So it's wheels balanced, a new coil spring, timing belt. Oh, that's not a bad price for a timing belt. So Elite Cars replaced the timing belt for $397 plus VAT. It's not bad at all, is it? Sometimes, I mean, I always stress this, but you're far better going to a specialist. So whatever brand of car you drive, just find a good specialist and stick with them. It's what I always try and do. So I've got Elite Jaguar in Stockport, Hallam Brothers for Land Rover over in Hayfield, SPR Mercedes in Stockport, Darren Wood BMW in Bredbury. I always try and stick to specialists. Well, sorry, I'm boring you to tears here, guys, but this service history is impeccable. Impeccable. What a result. This never happened. What should be a non-runner now? This never happens. Should we fire it up? I don't like that, to be honest, but I've seen worse. These engines, by the way, they're always a little bit lumpy for about 5 seconds when they're cold, and then they're just silky smooth. So we've got door open. Let's see if my air conditioning works, shall we? Climate, there we go. Auto. Set it to 19. Right, this one's jammed. So I'll have to get my mechanic to replace that, although it's probably a job I could do myself. Let me turn this down, you'll never hear me, will you? This is a nice car, you know. This will clean up lovely. So I think then what I'm going to do is, well, in fact, let's drive it first. Should we drive it first? Sounds like a good idea. Sadly, I would say my air conditioning isn't working. Can't have it all though, can you? So we'll have to get that gassed, I think. What should I do with these wheels? Shall I go silver or keep them as they are? Right, well, we've got a reverse camera. We've done 98,000 miles, 900. my parking sensors work by the sounds of things. Well, there's not an awful lot to do to this, is there? No cam belt to do. Sounds like I'm moaning. No cam belt to do, no gearbox service to do, no engine service to do. All we've got to do then is refurbish the wheels, get it valeted, give it a good clean, fit the vent, re-gas the air conditioning. It might need a condenser or a new pipe. Usually if it doesn't work like this, there's obviously a fault. It isn't usually just a recharge. Not that lucky. It's quite a warm day to have a car with no aircon. They really are lovely cars, these. I would gladly run around in something like this. We've got functioning windows. Well, so far then, this is driving fine. I've got no warning lights on at all. This era of XF is prone to a warning light. Quite often you'll see something like water in fuel, DPF full, restricted performance, all that sort of stuff. But on this, we're all clear. I'm thinking my budget, which I set in my head of £500, should be more than achievable. Wheel refurbs are going to cost me 200, I suppose. Aircon gas, 60. Bit of labour to fit this, another 50 or 60, I guess. 70 for a valet. Yeah, we're there or thereabouts, aren't we? It is trying a little bit, that aircon. Not completely dead. Maybe a regas would do it, you know. You know what I love about England when the weather's like this? You see loads of classics on the road. I don't even know what that was. I think it might have been a Mark 1 Escort, but way before my time. It's more my dad's era, that sort of thing. Well, this is a pleasure to drive. I don't know whether it is the S or not. In fact, let me pull over. Let's see what the logbook says, shall we? .3 litre, it is the S. You never know with Jaguars, because Jaguar owners tend to have a penchant for ordering the wrong badges off eBay. They usually love to stick lots of chrome on. Like that. But it is an S. This just gets better and better. Right. Well, the XF S is the one to have. It's the one that I would try and seek out personally. You just get an extra 20 or so horsepower, which isn't really needed, but it's nice, isn't it? It's nice and solid over the bumps. It's not pulling to one side. The brakes are fine. There's not an awful lot else I can tell you, really, is there? Right, I'm going to head straight down to my mechanics now then, and I shall see you in a couple of days' time. This shouldn't be a long turnaround, this, should it? Well, you'll never guess what I'm about to tell you. I don't think you'll believe it. I've only gone and sold a car for a profit. Quite a good profit as well, actually. Right then, after we last spoke, I took this down to my mechanics to replace the vent and get a fresh MOT. If you remember, this driver's side vent here wouldn't open, but the previous owner kindly left me a replacement. So I asked them to fit that for me, check over the levels, it didn't need a service because it had one recently, and then run it through an MOT. I asked them, as I always do, to make sure that it had no advisory items. If you see something that's borderline, just do it. Anyway, it passed its MOT, it didn't need anything doing to it whatsoever. I knew this was a good one from the moment I clapped tyres on it. And it just got better and better as I looked through the service history. The previous owner had obviously cherished it. It's quite simple, isn't it, really? If you fix something the moment it breaks, service your engine, service your gearbox, and generally look after it and treat it with some dignity and respect, then it will last. After I collected it from my mechanics, I then took it for its wheel refurbs, and I decided to stick with the original grey. I was toying with the idea of doing them silver, but then I thought, maybe this grey's factory, maybe it's standard. The wheels weren't too badly damaged, they just had a few curb marks here or there, and now they look like new. Then I picked it up from there and took it for a valet, then I got it back to work, photographed it, advertised it, and within about 24 hours it had sold. I advertised it at $7,495, which according to Auto Trader's pricing guides said that it was overpriced, but this had excellent history. Cam belt done, gearbox serviced, ice cold aircon. Oh, did I mention that? I got the aircon guy round to gas the aircon, and now it is ice cold. It's nice and chilly in here. I had about 3 inquiries on it straight away, and I love when that happens because it means you can pick your deal. The guy came to view it, loved it, as I knew he would, and he left a deposit, and he's picking it up tomorrow, which is why I'm driving this quite carefully. I'm not a superstitious man, but you just don't drive sold cars. Number one rule of the motor trade. But I thought I knew how to finish this video, give everyone some closure. Right, so what I'm going to do now then is park up and I'll go through my costs. But, surprise, surprise, there aren't that many. Here we go then. Look at that view. Anyway, right, we've only got one piece of paper here. Now, if you remember, I paid £4,500 for the car. My MOT test fee was £40, £22 in labour to fit the vent, which in hindsight I probably could have had a go at myself, but I'm quite a busy man and £22 I thought was reasonable. The air conditioning cost me £70, the alloys cost me £220, the valet cost me £70, so that takes my total to £4,926.40. Now I've sold it for £7,495, which gives me a total profit of, before VAT and tax of course, £2,568.60, which I'm over the moon with. It's a great return on investment, that. It could have quite easily gone the other way. You know, for example, if I had to do a cam belt, that would have been £600, a gearbox service, another £300 there. So straight away that £2,500 could have been 1,500 quid. But, well, this job's just like a roll of the dice. Sometimes you get double sixes, other times you get snake eyes. So that's it. Right, well, thank you once again for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'll leave the link below. And yeah, cheers guys. See you next time.